and today on Media Morals we are going to be talking about the historic, the first of its kind princess, Snow White.
I'm so glad!
If you've not heard of Snow White, what rock are you living under? This is probably the most iconic Disney princess or animated movie of all time, simply because it was the first feature-length animated film ever made in the world. I would understand if some of you haven't actually seen Snow White itself, or if you've seen it as a kid and don't remember, because that's kind of the category I fall into. I haven't watched it for at least the past 2 or 3 years. However, everyone is familiar with the story of Snow White in some way or another. On Media Morals, we don't just talk about the Disney movie, we don't just talk about the book, we talk about what you can learn from it. And in Snow White, there's actually a lot you can learn from.
Let me guess. I know.
Recently in our lit classes we've been doing something called critical lens presentation, talking about the feminist lens, and I was thinking that it'd be interesting to talk about Snow White. Since it did portray an early image of women that might not be as well accepted today as it was in the time. Snow White came out in the 1930s. Back then there was still a lot of issues with equal rights and women facing discrimination because of their gender. So Snow White is kind of an illustration of that time period and that early idea of women and their role in society.
Oh, you must be grumpy.
Snow White moves into the Seven Dwarfs' home and she proceeds to do all their housework and their chores and cleans for them and all sorts of stuff, whereas the dwarves go out to work and get their gems at the little cave with their little glowy eyes and all that sort of thing. It's just not as equal as we see in movies nowadays. Although Snow White is a good film and it's great and the story is cute and it's nice, a lot of these gender issues are brought up in it and you can see them especially nowadays. So what kind of message does that present to the audience? Well, it's important when you're watching this or when a child is watching this that they are surrounded by newer forms of media as well, and that they're not only faced with movies where the women are in this position, and it's important to have like a diverse set of films, especially since this is a children's movie. It's highly influential on your just general way of thinking. It's fair to say that women should not be treated this way and should not be presented in this specific light only. Just keep that in mind when you're watching Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Although it's an adorable movie and the music is great and it's just like a trip down memory lane for some people who remember watching that as a child, there's still some things to keep in mind and to think about while watching. There's no one clean, just simple way to say this and to like wrap it up as a little package. I'm not entirely sure how you could do that with a topic like equal rights and feminism, but it's just important to notice things that are going on and discrimination that's occurring around you. Especially being able to tell in media when women are being presented in a certain way and being aware that you don't let that change your overall way of thinking or let it seep into just the way you treat others. Even more importantly, for movies that are targeted towards boys, having this kind of messages in it is kind of bad and like kind of frowned upon because they would be convinced to like treat women in a certain way. That's why nowadays I think Disney is trying to compensate for their lack of diversity in early films. You have Snow White's message of someday my prince will come and like helplessness basically, and then you've got new princesses that are fighting on their own, don't even have a prince. But that doesn't mean Snow White is worth bashing on. I would like to argue that Snow White is fine either way. It is a product of its era, and although the messages and the feminism is not as strong within it, it's just like a piece of historical work. I think the only big problem comes when we're still distributing this to children as like it's current media. The clouds come rolling in. He'll whisper I love you and steal a kiss or two, though he's far away. I'll find my love someday, someday when my dreams come true. I know, bow bow. But anyway, just like that whole song is basically like she needs a prince. Like she needs to wait for him, and like she can't do anything without him. But like, girl, you can like go and get a job and go and do your thing. You don't need a prince. You don't need a prince, Snow White. Also, do you like my shirt? I always mention this in every video, but like I wear clothes and I try to theme them to the video topic as best as I can. Now it's stuck in my head. The song's stuck in my head now. I don't know what to do. How do I get it out? I'd like to get back to the main topic, and that's just letting you know feminism is important, and it's important to look at old forms of media as just a product of their era and keep them in that context instead of trying to show them to kids and make them think that that's how the world works. I think that's all for today. Thanks for watching Media Morals. Check out my video next week. Bye, internet! I don't know which one's better. I don't know.